The release of Deepseek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser-focused on.
Over the last year, a small 20-person team in China developed an AI more powerful than ChatGPT with less than 1/100th the budget, and vaporized more than $1 trillion of valuation from the world's biggest tech companies in just one day. In just one day, Silicon Valley's air of superiority of the world suddenly and publicly collapsed. It all seemed too dramatic to be true. So was it? Well, the numbers said it wasn't. Deepseek was factually 20 times cheaper. API costs plummeted from OpenAI's $15 to $60 input-output pricing to Deepseek's 55 cents to $2.19 input-output price point. The engineering behind it almost didn't seem made up. Deepseek had stockpiled over 10,000 NVIDIA A100 GPUs before US sanctions hit to run the system. But even then, only 37 FIT's 671 billion parameters were ever used for any given task because of its revolutionary mixture of experts, or MOE, architecture. This selective activation was what let Deepseek be so cheap. The system could afford to run less of itself for less demanding tasks. This fact made it so that Deepseek could compress their model into smaller variants, from 1.5 billion to 70 billion parameters based on the Llama and Qwen architectures, which could run on hardware that consumers could buy at just any old store. Deepseek even did this while it was training itself up, using a reinforcement learning system called the GRPO framework. The company eliminated the traditional throw everything at the AI and run it at 1000% model that OpenAI used, which reduced GPU cluster costs to $2 an hour. This efficiency created a market earthquake that extends beyond just cost savings. While Silicon Valley companies must charge premium prices to cover their billion-dollar infrastructure investments, Deepseek's entire training budget came in under $6 million, effectively turning a luxury product into something actually approachable for smaller companies, without any sacrifice in performance. In fact, Deepseek did better than everyone else on its benchmarks. On the Math 500 test, it scored a 97.3%, surpassing both ChatGPT and Claude at a fraction of the price. This all leads us to the secret sauce Deepseek is using, the actual training method the AI uses. Unlike traditional models that learn from human-labeled data, Deepseek's AI teaches itself through pure reinforcement learning. This creates an AI that discovers problem-solving strategies on its own, rather than merely mimicking human examples, and even letting the AI verify itself, instead of needing humans to do it for the AI, which was demonstrated when it was given a physics problem and double-checked itself before moving on to the next steps. Most impressively, Deepseek achieved this using a relatively tiny dataset compared to its competitors. Their AI learned from a smaller, more focused dataset, an efficiency which helped grapple processing power for its neural pathways that were optimized to behave how a human brain works. Speaking of, thanks so much for all the support on the channel lately. It really means a lot, and I want to give something back to you guys. So do you need a job? That sounded a bit weird. But whether you're a UX designer, app developer, freelancer, or just a curious viewer, I want to get to know you guys, share some UX and UI tips, and maybe even get a gig. So I made a Discord channel for us and want to make this the place to be for front-end professionals. And I'm having talks with people to get some employers in there so you can connect with them too and find some jobs in the future. I'm really excited to get this thing started, so I hope you'll join me. All this meant that within hours of Deepseek's release, OpenAI executives canceled all their scheduled meetings. Sam Altman, who normally tweets updates about AI progress, went silent for a week. Inside sources revealed the company ordered an immediate code review of their entire system, searching for efficiency improvements they'd overlooked. Zuckerberg was even more shaken. He'd established delicate war rooms where engineers worked around the clock to understand Deepseek's architecture. The company reassigned 200 developers from other projects to their AI division. Internal memos leaked to Forbes revealed genuine fear, not just of falling behind technologically, but of their entire AI investment strategy becoming obsolete. And poor Microsoft had to cope with the the fact that they invested $13 billion in OpenAI just for a random group of Chinese engineers to torpedo their entire technological edge. Microsoft's cloud division scrambled to revise their pricing strategy, knowing their current AI service costs couldn't compete with Deepseek's efficiency. But what highlighted the industry's panic the most was Google. They had tried to keep up with Deepseek, fast-tracking the release of their next Gemini model, only to delay it again after initial benchmarks showed it completely and utterly failed. Internal sources reported heated debates about whether to abandon their current training approach entirely. It goes without saying that this caused the stock market to collapse. Beyond Nvidia's 17% drop, the entire AI sector experienced a reality check, as investment firms like Sequoia Capital and Andreessen Horowitz started questioning, maybe finally questioning, whether any of these AI companies' valuations actually held any water. The entire spell was like a nuclear bomb had just detonated. It all seemed too good, or bad, to be true. So what if it was? Technical inconsistencies emerged during extended testing. While Deepseek excelled in mathematical reasoning and coding, it struggled with nuanced conversation and context switching, as the program sometimes mixed up languages mid-response and, in AI fashion, still made up a bunch of stuff sometimes to simple questions. The model also considerably dragged when it came to stuff outside its strengths, like complex emotional intelligence or medical questions, though still nothing new for AI. But more novel was the long-term viability of the entire project. Deepseek's stockpile of A100 GPUs would eventually need replacement, and US sanctions blocked access to next-generation chips. Analysts questioned whether their cost advantage could survive without access to cutting-edge hardware, and the company's reliance on hedge funds rather than VCs for funding raised concerns about sustainable growth and development resources. Almost immediately alongside all of this, security researchers flagged potential vulnerabilities in Deepseek's open-source approach, as the model had occasionally leaked fragments of its training data during its tasks, a flaw that could leak tons of sensitive information if not watched over. Independent audits also revealed inconsistencies in the AI's handling of personal data, raising concerns about compliance with GDPR and other privacy regulations. And of course, it's from China. Deepseek's origin country sparked intense debate amongst governments worldwide as they started scrutinizing the code for potential backdoors or surveillance capabilities. India's cybersecurity department issued warnings about using Chinese AI models in sensitive sectors, and the US Department of Defense predictably banned its use on any government-adjacent projects, citing national security. But even if it's deficient here or there and geopolitically fraught with landmines, Deepseek has seemingly fundamentally changed the conversation about AI development. They proved that groundbreaking AI innovation doesn't require billions in funding or thousands of engineers. A small team with smart optimization can match tech giants' achievements. This democratization creates a ripple effect. Universities and research labs previously priced out of AI development can now run state-of-the-art models on consumer hardware. Startups in developing countries compete directly with Silicon Valley, using Deepseek's efficient architecture as their foundation, and the open-source nature of their code has sparked a global collaboration movement. Developers worldwide contribute improvements, fix bugs, and create specialized versions for specific industries. This collective effort accelerates AI innovation faster than any single company could manage. Most importantly, Deepseek shattered the myth that advanced AI belongs exclusively to big tech. Their success forces the entire industry to rethink bloated development practices and excessive spending. The future of AI no longer depends on who has the biggest budget, but on who has the smartest approach. The hype around Deepseek isn't just justified, it's necessary. Sometimes it takes an outsider and a stock market panic to show us a better way forward and knock the incumbent off its throne.